Environmental justice refers to the fair and equitable distribution of environmental benefits and burdens, as well as meaningful participation in environmental decision-making processes, regardless of race, ethnicity, income, or socioeconomic status. It seeks to address and rectify environmental inequalities and injustices that disproportionately affect marginalized and vulnerable communities, including low-income neighborhoods, communities of color, indigenous peoples, and other disadvantaged groups. Here's how environmental justice can ensure fair treatment and involvement in environmental decisions. Identifying environmental injustices. Environmental justice begins with recognizing and addressing the disproportionate environmental burdens and hazards faced by marginalized communities. This includes exposure to pollutants, toxins, hazardous waste sites, industrial facilities, and other environmental hazards that threaten public health, safety, and well-being. Environmental justice advocates work to identify and document environmental injustices, assess their impacts on affected communities, and raise awareness about the underlying social and economic factors that drive environmental disparities. Addressing root causes of environmental injustice. Environmental justice seeks to address the root causes of environmental injustice, including systemic racism, poverty, discrimination, and unequal access to resources and opportunities. This involves advocating for policies and practices that address underlying social and economic inequalities, promote social equity and inclusion, and ensure that all communities have access to clean air, water, and land. Environmental justice advocates work to challenge unjust land use decisions, zoning policies, industrial siting practices, and regulatory enforcement actions that perpetuate environmental disparities and harm vulnerable communities. Ensuring meaningful participation. Environmental justice emphasizes the importance of meaningful and inclusive participation in environmental decision-making processes at all levels, from local to global. This includes ensuring that affected communities have a voice in decisions that affect their health, environment, and quality of life, as well as opportunities to actively participate in planning, policymaking, and regulatory processes. Environmental justice advocates work to empower communities to advocate for their rights, engage with government agencies and industry stakeholders, and hold decision-makers accountable for addressing their concerns and priorities. Promoting environmental health and safety. Environmental justice aims to protect and promote the environmental health and safety of all communities, particularly those most impacted by environmental hazards and pollution. This includes advocating for stronger environmental regulations, enforcement mechanisms, and pollution prevention measures to reduce exposure to harmful contaminants and ensure that everyone has access to clean and healthy environments. Environmental justice advocates also work to address environmental health disparities and provide resources and support for impacted communities to address health impacts and promote community resilience. Building coalitions and solidarity. Environmental justice is grounded in principles of solidarity, mutual support, and collective action. It involves building alliances and coalitions among diverse stakeholders, including environmental organizations, community groups, labor unions, faith-based organizations, and social justice movements, to advocate for common goals and advance shared interests. By working together across lines of difference, environmental justice advocates can amplify their voices, leverage their collective power, and mobilize broader support for environmental justice solutions and systemic change. Advancing environmental equity. Environmental justice seeks to advance environmental equity by ensuring that all communities have equitable access to environmental resources, benefits, and opportunities. This includes promoting green and sustainable development practices, investing in renewable energy, energy efficiency, and green infrastructure projects in underserved communities, and prioritizing environmental justice considerations in government policies, programs, and funding decisions. By promoting environmental equity, environmental justice can help build more resilient, inclusive, and sustainable communities for all. Overall, environmental justice is a critical framework for addressing environmental inequalities, promoting social justice, and ensuring that all communities have the right to a healthy and sustainable environment. By centering the voices and concerns of marginalized communities, advocating for equitable policies and practices, and fostering meaningful participation in decision-making processes, environmental justice can help create a more just and sustainable future for everyone.